How do our bodies just know when to fall asleep? What decides when we naturally wake up or when we just start to feel sleepy? Why are some people night owls while others are early birds? Although the feeling of tiredness does contribute to when we sleep, what's also important in the regulation of the human sleep wake cycle is the circadian process. See, when we wake up, sleep pressure begins to accumulate until we fall asleep. This is homeostatic regulation. Circadian regulation controls sleep on a 24-hour cycle and involves alerting signals to signify the time within this cycle. As humans, we fall asleep when our sleep pressure is high enough and our individual circadian alerting signals tell us to sleep, matching our individual rhythms. So, what are circadian rhythms? Well, formally, they refer to the dynamic balance between internal rhythms and our external conditions. Essentially, rhythms are organized in a way to signal sleep and wake times, but also other physiological processes following a 24-hour cycle. In terms of patterns, current research suggests that this is our best guess for human circadian rhythms and their patterns. The rhythms are regulated by the suprachiasmatic nucleus. The SCN knows where we are within our 24-hour cycle through time givers, or Zeitgebers, which use information from our external environment to communicate the time to the SCN. For example, let's look at the mechanism of the most important principal time giver, light. Melatonin is a hormone that acts on the SCN and makes us feel tired. When there is light, melatonin is suppressed. In the dark, melatonin is stimulated. So, does this mean that people who have similar external factors will have the same rhythms? Well, not necessarily. Throughout your life, you've probably noticed that people have their own times at which they naturally wake up and fall asleep. This is due to what we call chronotypes, which are individual variations in one's preferred timing of our sleep wake cycle. Chronotypes determine the natural timing of aspects and patterns within our 24-hour sleep wake cycle. The two main chronotypes we will look at are early and late. Early chronotypes have a preferred timing that is shifted earlier than the standard timing of the human sleep wake cycle, and late chronotypes have a preferred timing that is shifted later. While chronotypes vary on an individual basis, they also vary with age and gender. For example, there's an increase in the percentage of late chronotypes from ages 15 to 30, with the highest percentage at around 20 years old. Now, you might ask, so if people don't have the same preferred timing, then is it harmful to force everyone to have the same daily schedule? What happens if our chronotype strays from the norm and our individual circadian rhythms don't sync up with daily sleep and wake times promoted by society? Well, when internal rhythms don't align with external conditions, individuals experience what we call phase shifts. And these lead to circadian disorders, disorders of sleep wake cycles that involve difficulties falling asleep and waking up. One prominent type of circadian disorder is social jet lag, and it occurs when one's preferred circadian timing does not match the forced 24-hour timing of one's society. In general, circadian rhythms include a variety of consequences, both short term but also long term. An important example of social jet lag in current day society is the effect of early school start times. As mentioned earlier, adolescents and young adults typically develop a late chronotype at their age, with them naturally going to bed at around 12 to 1 and waking up at around 8 to 9. So, since typical school times begin at around 8 to 9, students are being forced to wake up much earlier than their preferred circadian rhythm, and they might experience a phase delay. Oftentimes, this results in less sleep for students. The lack of sleep contributes to reduced cognitive abilities, and this includes reduced attention and focus in class. Overall, this misalignment hinders students' ability to learn, which sounds pretty counterintuitive if you ask me. This might sound concerning though, but don't panic just yet. There are some common recommendations and treatments to combat circadian disorders, and these include adhering to a fixed sleep schedule, use of melatonin, and time light exposure. Along with individual treatments, in terms of social jet lag, societal changes can also be made. For example, schools can delay their start times by a couple of hours, and companies can offer more flexible work schedules. As a society, we need to realize the importance of properly timed sleep existing to our chronotype for our mental and physiological health, and also the economic burden of sleep deprivation. If all individuals are experiencing adequate sleep at their preferred time, society will be more efficient and happier overall.